Hello and welcome to the Islamic Finance Weekly, where we discuss finance, business and economy from a Sharia perspective. As the global economy witnesses a paradigm shift, Islamic economics is attracting more attention as an alternative sector. The most active institutional structure of Islamic economics is in the form of Islamic finance and banking. It has been at the center of innovation in many economies in recent years, where product development is a vital element in driving the success of Islamic financial institutions. The product development of Islamic financial institutions is one of the key elements of their overall economic performance. Today on the program, we'll be discussing Islamic finance product development and sustainable financing. My guest for this episode is Professor Luqman Zakariyah, Professor of Islamic Jurisprudence and HOD, Religious Studies, Faculty of Humanities, Federal University of Kashere, Gombe State. Professor Luqman joins me virtually. Good morning, Professor Luqman. It is good to have you on the Islamic Finance Weekly.
Good morning, welcome, and thanks for having me today.
It's my pleasure. Product development is a vital element in driving the success of Islamic financial institutions. Give us an overview of Islamic finance product development in Nigeria.
Yes, product development is about having innovation in the industry. And it is very essential to have it for many reasons. One of the reasons will be for sustainable performance of the industry. Without new product coming out, the industry will be stuck, and there will be no any innovation in the industry, and perhaps the company may not be functioning as a potential competitive industry in the finance. Generally, people have said that Nigeria is very good in innovation. Islamic finance in Nigeria, as you know, is very, very young compared to the conventional one. So when we are talking about product development in Islamic finance in Nigeria, we've been talking about some classical products which we offer, like ijara, like istisna, like murabaha, mudoraba, and so on and so forth. These are the classical products mentioned in the classical books of fiqh, which the industry is trying to promote. However, there are other ways of doing product development. Since we know that in Islamic transaction, al-aslu fil ashiya al-ibah, everything in Islamic transaction is based on permissibility. So, meaning that we can go further from what mentioned in the classical books to what is obtainable in contemporary time. So that is why they suggest that in different parts of the world where Islamic finance is operating, they will just do what they call conversion of the conventional products to Islamic products. And I think the Prophet, during his time, he did the same thing. He didn't condemn what was in existence, but he did what we can call today Islamization of the products. So anything in the conventional system in terms of their products can be converted to Islamic products, whereby we scrutinize them and we remove any process that could lead to non-Sharia compliance from those conventional one to the Islamic one. And that is what we are encouraging Islamic banks in Nigeria to leverage on. And I think many products in conventional today can be converted to Islamic, like POS. POS can be used and can be Islamic products. If our scholar can look into this, other things will be like the cooperative banks it can be Islamic if we can remove any process that it is not Islamic from those processes in cooperative banks, and it could be Islamic. So there are a wide range of products in the conventional one that can be used in Islamic institute, the financial institution, and I'm looking forward to see more and more of this in Islamic banks in Nigeria.
We need to maintain the high degree of product innovation, so in order to have market
Yes.
leading and competitive position. Thank you very much for sharing your perspective with us on that. As a professor of Islamic law, share with us the Islamic jurisprudence of financial transactions.
Well, on this particular question, we can look in general from the product itself. The jurisprudential aspect of Islamic transaction, we can talk about principles and the products. So let me take it from the principles. The principle in Islamic transaction from Islamic jurisprudential point of view is that al-aslu fil uqud al-maliya al-hil. The origin of any Islamic transaction is to be permissible until otherwise is proven, meaning that until when we can find in the book of God, of Allah, Quran, or hadith of the Prophet, that this particular transaction is not halal, then that is when we can declare it non-Islamic. So that is one way of looking into the Islamic jurisprudence in the Islamic in the financial transaction. The other principle is that al-aslu fi riba at-tahrim. Anything that you can see element of riba usually in it, or al-gharar, uncertainty, or al-maisir, that is gambling, it is not allowed from fiqh point of view. That is Islamic jurisprudence. Also, al-aslu fil uqud at-taradi. The original principle in any Islamic transaction is the consent of the two parties. The two parties must consent to the transaction, and they must be pleased with the conditions. Otherwise, if one party is pleased and the other party is not pleased with it, that is not Islamic. It's not allowed from fiqh point of view. So that is when we talk about the principles. But in terms of the entire Islamic jurisprudence, when we are talking about products, we sometimes brand a product as haram. That is, it is forbidden. So when it has to do with riba, gharar, and maisir, that is usury, gambling, and uncertainty. So we declare that as riba and haram. Sometimes we say the product is makruh, that is detestable. That is, if there's element in it which is not conform with Islamic principles, the Muslim scholar will say these products, this transaction is makruh. Okay, though it can be refined to become halal. Let me give you an example. If a child of below age of maturity did a transaction, the Muslim scholar will not accept it. Though he may did it very well, but they believe that he hasn't attained the age of puberty for him fit to do the transaction. So we may say that that transaction is makruh, and we can reverse it, or we can augment it to become halal. Then sometimes we say a transaction is wajib. That is, if it is completed and everything is done, so you cannot reverse. You have to fulfill the promise. As Allah says in the Quran, Surah Al-Ma'idah, awfu bil uqud. So this is another way of looking into the Islamic jurisprudence of financial transaction. So there are many things in fiqh of Islam It is Islamic jurisprudence that we look into when we are dealing with our financial transaction. But the main things are the one I mentioned about the principle that I quickly mentioned, then about the ahkam, that is, we lay a judgment on particular product. Also, we need to look into the adillah, the sources of the law. So, in Islamic jurisprudence, we look into what is your delil on declaring this product not compliant, that it is haram. So, whether it is from the Quran or from Hadith or from ijma consensus or from qiyas, that is analogical reasoning, or for maslahah, it could be for public reason, interest. So you declare something that is halal or haram. So we look at what they call adillah sometimes. Then we look at the mas'ala. What are you talking about? Are you talking about mudaraba or musharaka or ijara? So these types of products or model, they have origin, and we have to go back to the origin, that is adillah, to look into them, to put them in appropriate place in the fiqh.
Is Islamic finance instrument the answer to global challenges?
Of course, we all know that. When we talk about the over subscription of sukuk in Nigeria,
some scholars argue that Islamic finance cannot solve the challenges of the world. It's just a transactions to, for risk sharing, profit and loss sharing, and to reduce the interest rate amongst the country. So, is the instrument the answer to global challenges?
When we talk about Islamic finance, we are not talking only about the instruments.
Okay.
We are talking about the consequential element of it. If the interest is not part of our transaction and people are not incurring debt with additional burden, then it will solve many things. And that is why you see people patronizing Islamic finance, especially in Nigeria. Non-Muslims are patronizing Islamic finance. Why? It's because they are relieved from incurring interest. Okay? And many non-Muslims also in different parts of the world, be it in America, in Britain, they pursue the product of Islamic finance. The consequence of it is that at the end, you rest assured that you are part and parcel of the community. Okay? The risk is not transferred to you alone, but it is shared between you and the financer. So that gives you opportunity to work hard with the financer, the investors. So the bank will not sit down, leverage on the people's work. It will be part and parcel of the work. So Islamic finance solves the problem of the global problem in many ways. One of the ways is that every individual is active in the business. The bank will be active, the creditor will be active, the debitor will be active, every one of us will be active, because we know we are jointly investing in the business. Not that someone will sleep and expecting profit to come every month, regardless of whether the person who took the money lost or not. So these are the material gain or substantive gain from it, not just only the instruments that we offer in the public that people take, but what is the outcome of the engagement with the banks, unlike the conventional one. And that is where I see that Islamic finance can solve the global problem or challenges if we can look at it holistically, not to look from one point and leave the other point.
All right. So how do we improve the quality of products and strategies to meet our goals?
Well, I think we still need more to do on that. As we have in halal industry, we have what they call halal quality assurance. From quality assurance system in the conventional industry, we have what they call halal assurance system. In the bank also, they have assurance system, quality assurance system. So we have to follow the SOP in Islamic finance. No any favoritism, no any corner or shortcuts in doing business. No doing anything that will lead to haram in the industries. And I think the CBN, with the help of Sharia experts, the advisory committee, they are very strict and they are giving guidelines for doing things in the bank, that is Islamic bank, whereby every Islamic institute, we follow the guideline. So once we follow the guideline, then we can produce the quality, we can offer quality. Another thing that I think that we can use to offer or to improve on the quality of products we are offering is that to know that Islamic bank or Islamic finance is not just only making money, but also contributing to the society. So the corporate social responsibility must be embedded in our activities. We are not saying that the Islamic bank should just give people money free of charge. No. But when you are doing it, you must do what they call a rahman. You must the mercy on the people. So you don't compound on the problem for your customer. You try to solve the problem of your customer, diligent in giving money out, doing business. Don't be too smart. You can't be smart in Islamic ethics. Is very important. Moral aspect of Islamic finance should be incorporated. In other words, moral aspect of Islamic finance should be incorporated in the Islamic financial institutions so that people will feel that, yes, we are dealing with Islamic institution as opposed to the conventional one, where sometimes there is no rahmah, no mercy. When you default, your house will be taken, will be sold, and this and that. But from Islamic point of view, we should find another way of giving help to people who are less privileged among our customers.
Okay, so thank you, Professor Luqman Zakariyah. So this takes me to my next question. The rise of Islamic finance brings to the fore the need to address human capital gap. So what ways has University of Kashere sensitized its students on Islamic finance product development?
Okay, well, in my own capacity, we encourage our students to write their projects on different aspects of Islamic finance, especially the 400 students who are graduating and our master's and PhD students. We give them what they call specialization. So some students will be specializing on Islamic finance, Islamic economics, as opposed to general focus like writing about history, writing about a theoretical aspect of Islamic studies. No, we want them to write an empirical study, to do research empirically rather than to be theoretical. So this is a small contribution from my own institution. However, I think we are agitating for reviewing, drastical review of the curriculum of Islamic studies in Nigeria tertiary institution, whereby the curriculum will take care of more of the areas, neglected area in Islamic studies. So Islamic finance in our curriculum is not well structured. It is not there at all. Only we are trying to sensitize students on what is going on in another field. So I'm looking forward to see how Islamic finance elements will be incorporated into the curriculum of Islamic studies, where students in Islamic studies will be specializing from the undergraduate to master's and PhD. They will be specializing on Islamic finance, and they will know about product development and other elements in Islamic finance. So the curriculum must be reviewed drastically, and the students must be willing to do research on Islamic finance, because one of the aspects of product development is research. And if there's no research, there will be no any new products, no any innovation. So for that reason, I will encourage even the Islamic banks or financial institutions, Islamic financial institution in Nigeria, to leverage on the human capitals in the universities to try to engage students in our universities to do research for them on how to develop more products in the financial institution so that we can sustain the industry.
Definitely, Professor Luqman, I must say that Islamic finance remains poorly understood across many markets, not only in Nigeria, Africa, but across the world. So we need to bridge the knowledge gap, and this can be done by the academias, the institutions, the stakeholders, even the youths who truly understand the tenets of Islamic finance. We really need to bridge the gap, education gap in Islamic finance for people to be sensitized and know more about it. Thank you very much, Professor. And as we wrap up the conversation, so what is the outlook for infrastructure financing and sustainability and the future of African markets as it concerns Islamic finance?
Yeah, I think I've talked about it in a different way before about infrastructure financing first. So I don't think it is so obvious in Islamic finance that we are doing more of infrastructure financing. Okay. But I believe that the sukuk can be part of infrastructure financing in the sense that infrastructure finance could be for economic, social, and commercial. Road, clean water, and so on and so forth. So Islamic finance is moving to that direction. I know that JAIS is doing, and TAJ, they are doing more of infrastructure financing. They don't really deal with retail financing per se. So they finance many big projects. But we still need more of that to be done by Islamic finance, whereby road can be built for the government, okay, from the surplus in the Islamic finance. So we can build road for the government with toll. That will be for commercial reason. Social also, we can help the government to build the water in different villages, and that will be part of the social infrastructure financing that we can do. So there are many ways that we can explore. So there are many excess that we don't tap on in Islamic community. So how can we generate money, wealth from this to sustain Islamic banks? We need to sustain them by having many different outlets. So you see, in Lagos State, there are many local governments, but how many branches of Islamic banks in Lagos? Let alone if you go to Kwara State, probably one branch. So people will be fed up and they will be pursuing the conventional one without leaving the Islamic one behind. So for us to sustain, we need to create wealth, inject the wealth into the Islamic finance so that we can sustain the industry. So the future is very bright, as I said, but we need a collaboration. We need to work together in Africa. When you go to Republic of Benin, they may not even know anything about Islamic finance, especially the Francophone speaking country like Côte d'Ivoire and so on and so forth. They are not well exposed to Islamic finance. So we need to sensitize them. So we in Nigeria, we shouldn't concentrate only in Nigeria. We should be working together in Africa, even the northern Africa, like Morocco, Tunis, Algeria, and probably Egypt. So we need to incorporate them, have different seminars, exhibition, training, and so on and so forth, so that all of us can work together as a team. Then we can project Islamic finance as a potential alternative for financial institutions in Africa, particularly, and in the world generally. So I believe that by doing that, Islamic finance will flourish beyond our imagination.
Indeed, Africa is a region in which Islamic finance could and should thrive due to its Muslim population. And
of course, yes. I believe, though there are some other countries like India, Pakistan, but I think the understanding in Africa and the resources we have, mineral resources, can let us be at the forefront of Islamic finance in the future if we plan very well, we strategize very well, and we think beyond the box. That is only time we can achieve the future repetition that we are looking for.
Yes, and by doing this, we need to get it right from the product development of non-interest.
Of course, definitely, I agree.
Thank you very much, sir, Professor Luqman Zakariyah. We really appreciate your intervention on the program. It was nice having this conversation with you. Really appreciate we appreciate your intervention, sir.
Yeah, I'm happy to share my other experience with you in the nearest future.
Thank you, and we hope to feature you subsequently on the program, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yes, have a nice day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
The impact of the pandemic and the ongoing hostilities between Russia and Ukraine have reinforced the value of sustainable financing across the world. With less than 8 years to the 2030 timeline of achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, Islamic finance presents the opportunity for supporting Nigeria's chances of achieving the SDGs. This will require creative and innovative products from the Islamic finance institutions that keys into addressing socioeconomic issues in the country. That will be all for this edition of the Islamic Finance Weekly. You can visit our website, www.kashere.co, to watch our videos and read our stories and articles. Till we come your way again, thank you for watching. Please stay safe and enjoy your day.